7-run lead after the 7th inning. You do something that no Major League Baseball team had done in the past 1,192 overall games played everywhere, and that's somehow still not the worst thing that happened to the franchise yesterday. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Cubs 14, Pirates 10. The Pirates were winning this game 10-3. It's a long list of people who blew it. Aroldis Chapman, who's been really good, blew it. David Bednar, who's not been good at all, blew it. But I've told you in recent weeks, I'm not doing that anymore. I am not playing that game. Everything now is in the macro, not in the micro. It's not about an inning here or there, or a pitch, or a decision. It's about losing 18 out of 25. It's about giving up 41 runs in 3 games to the Cubs. This requires a pause and a repeat. 41 runs in 3 games to the Cubs. And amid all that, very quietly, and without an announcement actually, it just became known out of the Dominican Republic that the Pirates had fired Junior Vizcaino, their Latin American scouting director since 2017, and others in that operation. And I'm here to tell you that is so much worse than that ball game. Not because Vizcaino didn't have it coming. I've been, for weeks now, complaining on here and in written columns about the state, the disastrous state of the Pirates in Latin America, how they've been spending $7 million plus a year with nothing to show for it at any level. Brought it up again just yesterday. And what do you know? Yesterday, in the middle of everybody's baseball season, that guy gets fired, meaning Vizcaino. Here's why that matters and why it's bad. Any team that makes a change in their Latin American operation knows that it's doing so for a long time, because it takes a long time to develop the kind of roots, the influence, the inroads necessary to compete for talent in that part of the world. I've been down there. I've traveled the Dominican for baseball purposes. I've experienced it. It is something. It's the wild, wild west. And the teams that have people around the longest tend to do the best, so you're reluctant to make changes unless you really have to. A decision of this magnitude, and it was a magnitude-type decision, I repeat, needed to wait until we saw what would happen with the actual management in Pittsburgh. Let me rephrase that. It needed to wait for the next GM. Now, maybe it still will. Maybe if Bob Nutting's on the ball here, and the one area where I don't think anybody can accuse him of not being on the ball is Latin America over the years, he will not allow Ben Cherington to find the replacement for Vizcaino. He can allow Cherington to fire him, but if he allows Cherington to pick the successor, then he's doing something that's so dumb I can't even come close to quantifying it, and so much more damaging to the cause than Bednar having a lousy inning. Because you'll doom yourself in that part of the world again for another few years. Because this GM took 5 years to react to Vizcaino having done nothing, and Vizcaino was actually hired by Neil Huntington in 2017, almost 3 years before Cherington was even around. I know this isn't what most of you want to hear when you come to the show after a game like yesterday. I get that. Everyone wants to wag a finger at somebody, fire this guy, fire that guy. There's only one solution now. They've got to go. The best solution for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2025 and beyond is to have other people in baseball ops, it's not just the manager. You see him on TV, you get mad, you shake your fist. It's not just him. He's part of the problem. He's not the problem. And if they get away, meaning Cherington and his staff, with firing Vizcaíno and then replacing him, that gives them a green light to do the same with Shelton and buy themselves more time. And man, I can't think of a worse scenario. I really can't think of a worse scenario for the Pirates going into 2025 than to have the same people running everything. But that's where that pointed yesterday morning, and we'll see where it leads. When we come back, an equally chipper J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern, that's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q could have been any number of hysterical entries that were sent this way. And I don't mean hysterical like in the funny sense, although a couple of them were funny. I mean hysterical as in actually hysterical. That's how angry people were about that outcome yesterday in that series with the Cubs and I guess everything else. And I'm going to bypass all of those today in favor of just a stroke of genius sent this way from Wilbur, and he's eminently capable of strokes of genius. He writes, for 5 years, Ben Cherington and Derek Shelton have treated the regular season like it was just a bunch of practice games. This is standard stuff for them. I can't beat that. I can't do an episode of Daily Shot of Pirates that tops that. Because when you're watching that nonsense the past 3 days, and you're watching O'Neill Cruz standing out there in center field, which I'm pretty sure was what inspired Wilbur to write, and when you call out with deadly precision exactly the approach that's been taken by this general manager and in turn by this manager to regular season baseball, to the real 162 games that are supposed to matter, then you fully understand almost everything that's gone wrong in these 5 years. Because it's not that they're unwilling to turn the page. They can't. They don't know how. They don't have that in them. I know this about the GM, and I've really begun to believe it about the manager. They were brought in to do something. They set up a process, both from the acquisition/development standpoint and from the on-field instruction standpoint, and they never budged from it. They never altered any of their thinking, any of their actions. That's why they're unmoved. Shelton called himself yesterday after the game frustrated. Is he? Where? How? I've seen him get frustrated whenever an umpire has the audacity to make a mistake regarding the pitch clock. For one reason or another, pitch clock just drives him nuts. I've never seen it after a loss. I've never seen it after a home game. I've never seen it on the road. I've never seen it in a private, off-the-record something or other setting or overheard somebody maybe screaming something down the hallway or smashing something. Nothing in 5 years. And I'm around these guys a lot, including on the road. I'm headed out to Cleveland to cover these next 3 games. And I won't see or hear anything of the kind there either. And there will never, ever be a trace of it from the GM. This is why they've never left. They've never left page 1 of the 2020 manual on how to build the Pirates. And as a result, the 2024 Pirates are no better than the 2020 Pirates, are worse than the 2019 Pirates that got the previous guys fired. Why would you not take the same action if you're Bob Nutting right now? And I do mean right now. You can fire the Latin American scouting director, you can fire the GM, you can fire the manager. I appreciate always hearing from Wilbur. I appreciate everyone who listens to Daily Shot of Pirates. And yes, I actually really am headed to Cleveland. This was scheduled and booked a long time ago. Believe me, I'd be staying here finding some football or hockey to write about otherwise. But we'll do another one of these shows tomorrow.